If you want to know everything about living in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, both the good and the bad, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the real estate market in Toronto. My name is Marco Sobrevinas, broker of GTA Home Living, powered by Real Estate Homeward. My team and I get calls, texts, and emails all the time from people just like you looking to move to, from, or within Toronto, either moving up or downsizing. We truly love helping people, and whether you're moving in 9 or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you buy and or sell anywhere in the GTA. I help people by providing knowledge and education about the true state of the Greater Toronto real estate market. I'm committed to doing this with no hype, no agenda, and no BS. I'm not here to stir up hysteria or panic, nor will I sugarcoat facts in order to increase viewership. I don't depend upon social media for income. All of my videos are created in order to help educate people who are genuinely interested in what's truly going on in the GTA. I'll display real, raw data of figures and will never manipulate the facts. I'm capturing true data from either MLS or the Habitats analytics platform. That's my commitment to you. Let's get started. Today, we're looking at condos in the GTA. That's been a big subject on everyone's mind for the last couple of years. Let's look at condo values or sold prices first. All types of units combined, big picture view. We're going to go back 1 year, then 2.5 years, then 5 years, and then 10 years or a decade back. After we analyze that, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're separating the small units from the larger condos. We'll finish off our stats with DOM, or days on market, the number of days it takes to sell condos. I'll go over what's happening with the supply of new condos and how that will affect the market in the next couple of years. And of course, there was the recent drop in the Bank of Canada rate again, which is good news for buyers. And then we'll finish off with my recommendations on what to do in today's market regarding your condo properties. This is high-level bird's eye view, and we'll be looking at all of the GTA or Greater Toronto Area. That includes the regions of Durham, York, Peel, and Halton, as well as the City of Toronto, as you can see on this map. As these are sales for a full calendar year except 2025, and all of the GTA, the number of sold condos are in the thousands or even tens of thousands that I use for the average and median figures. That's a large enough sampling that it makes for a very accurate picture of the state of the market overall. I'll announce the average sold price and will present both the average sold price as well as the median sold price on screen. The median is the number right in the middle of all the sales of that year, which removes extreme outliers at both the very, very low and very high end of sales figures. Some viewers prefer to know the median rather than the average price. All the facts I'm presenting look at the condo market from the high-level viewpoint, as I mentioned. Keep in mind that you should always consult an expert real estate broker like myself to get an evaluation when it comes to your individual property. Okay, let's look at condos all sizes that have sold this year from January to end of August 2025 in the GTA. For 2025 so far, the market value of sold prices is $694,648. Let's go back 1 year, this time for the entire calendar year. Please note that this isn't quite an apples to apples comparison, as we're comparing only 8 months of 2025 to all 12 months of 2024 and further back. Bearing that in mind, our 2024 average sold price for the entire year is $725,174. The average from 2024 to 2025 has dropped about -4%. Let's jump back to 2022, over 2.5 years ago. That winter of 2022 was the height of the market. As I covered extensively in last week's episode, the prices started declining after that due to rising interest rates from Bank of Canada. What was the average sold price for condos in 2022, which was the all-time peak? It was $782,933. That means today's prices has dropped from the all-time peak by just over -11%, down 11%. And here it is 5 years ago in 2020. It was $633,975. That was the average 5 years ago. If you bought then, the market value today is up by just over 10%, plus 10%. And for reference, let's jump back a decade to 2015. The average then for all types of condos in the GTA was $387,910. Buying back then, your value today is up by 79%. Okay, so we can all see that condo prices, like freehold sold prices, peaked in 2022's winter. So far, it hasn't reached that height again. If you bought 5 years ago or more, then current prices are still higher than what you paid. If you bought significantly further back in time, like a decade or more, you've gained equally a significant increase in equity. That's the big picture. Let's discuss an important difference. In the current market, I started noticing something that isn't as widely discussed. I was starting to see that the small sub 500 or sub 600 square foot bachelor or one bedroom condos have dropped more in value than larger ones. Let's separate small units from large and see what's really happening in the market. There's no exact definition of when a condo is considered small versus mid-size or large size. And there are other factors such as floor plan layout and the amount of daylight that will also affect a person's perception of how small or large a condo is. For this video, let's draw the line for our purposes at the following. Condos which are less than 699 square feet we will consider small. 700 square feet and bigger we'll consider large size. Let's look at the current market values first and go back in time at the same intervals. 2025, January to the end of August. Small condos, $524,312. Large condos this year, $765,086. Last year, 2024, for the entire year, small condos, $563,173. It's dropped this year by -7.5%. Large, it was $791,577. It's dropped by only -3.5% for this year, a smaller percentage drop than the small units. Going back to 2022, the peak of the market, small condos, $633,902. 2025, it's dropped -17.5% from 2022. Large units have dropped -9.5%, less severe than the small units. Let's jump back 5 years to 2020. Small units, $536,234. In 2025, it's down by -2.5% from this 2020 figure. Large units, it was $670,379 in 2020. Larger units in 2025, however, are up by a significant 14% from 2020. Quite a different situation compared to the small units. 2015, or a decade in the past. Small units at that time were selling for $313,955 average sold price. Today, small units are up by 67% from that figure. Large, back then, $412,008 was the average sold price. Units today are selling 85% average price over that figure. The larger units both increase faster and retain their values better, whichever way the market is going. Okay, let's finish off our facts with days on market, or DOM. 2025, small units, 36 days. Large units, it takes 35 days to sell them on average. Last year, 2024, for the entire year, small units, 32 days average to sell. Large units, 31 days to sell. Going back to 2022, small, 17 days, large, 18 days. Let's jump back 5 years to 2020. Small, 20 days, large, 20 days. And now finally, 2015, or a decade in the past, small, 33 days, large, 28 days. Interestingly, small and large unit days on market are often the same or just a couple of days difference. At most, it was 5 days difference from 10 years ago. Predictably, the shortest number of days to sell was during the market peak in 2022. 17 days for the small units, 18 days for large units. Our current number of days to sell are roughly double that, 36 days for small units, 35 days for large condos. Thankfully, the number of active condo listings in the GTA is down by nearly 2,000 units from its high in May 2025 when it was nearly 13,000 condo listings. I believe the following factors have affected the drop in market value of the small condos in the GTA. Their tiny size makes them less livable than larger units. Many of these small units were purchased by investors in order to rent them, especially as short-term rentals, if the condo buildings permitted that. Most of these short-term rentals were dependent on business travelers. That dried up, of course, during the COVID years, and short-term business rentals still hasn't come back to its pre-COVID volume. Then interest rates started rising in 2022. Many investor owners have been trying to sell their units, and that factor has led to the glut of listings that we currently have now. We've now taken a careful look at the current and past market conditions for condos. Where do we go from here? Looking at the situation overall, immigration into the GTA continues to be strong. Here's a screen capture from Statistics Canada's website. Toronto grew by a record 268,911 people and passed the 7 million person mark to 7,106,379 people as of July 1st, 2024. And it's gone up since then in the 2025 year. New condo projects halted 2 to 3 years ago. In addition, there have been cancellations of projects that previously were proceeding. The buildings you see going up in the GTA were projects that were committed and sold from over 3 years ago and further into the past. That lack of new supply will start to have an effect as demand grows due to the ever-increasing population in the GTA. The balance of supply will diminish as demand increases, leading to increased sold prices. The big question is, when is that going to happen? That's difficult to answer. I'm thinking prices won't stabilize for another year or two, especially for the smaller units. We need to see a further reduction in the current listings inventory. That reduction is happening now, thankfully. with prices for small units being negative 17.5% lower than they were during the peak of 2022, and with the Bank of Canada rate having recently dropped again, now down to 2.5%, buyers have started returning to the market. If you bought less than 5 years ago, my advice is to hang on for a few more years in order to allow the pendulum to swing the other way, due to the factors I just mentioned. Continue to live in your unit or continue to rent it. If you bought more than 5 years ago, and especially if you bought 10 years ago or more, you've gained a lot of equity in your condo, so selling now will yield a handsome profit. As you know, real estate is all about the long game. You can make a lot of mistakes in real estate, but if you hang on to a property in the GTA for longer than 5 years, you're making a significant amount. Keep in mind, all of my figures are for the entire year quoted, except 2025, and the entire area of the GTA. That's a good picture of the market at a macro level. When you're ready to analyze your own individual condo property, there's no substitute in getting an expert realtor such as myself to analyze your property personally. Factors such as unit condition, upgrades or lack thereof, the condition of the building overall, if there are special assessments, lawsuits, and so on, will obviously affect your condo's market value up or down. So reach out to me and I can help you determine the individual value of your condo property. Next week, I'll discuss Bank of Canada's latest drop of their interest rate and its potential effects on real estate here in the GTA. See you then.